In Anthem, you are a freelancer, a renowned hero responsible for the safeguarding of humanity and exploring the worlds beyond the walls of Fort Tarsis. At their disposal, freelancers have access to a variety of javelins. I'm Darcblade, and this is our overview of the Colossus Javelin. Javelins are exosuits that allow freelancers to perform their duties, empowering them with offensive, defensive and explorative capabilities. The Colossus Javelin is by far the heaviest javelin there is. It is the largest, but as a result comes with high amounts of firepower and resistances. This artillery beast is able to rain down destruction and devastation upon foes through abilities and the use of heavy weapons that only the Colossus is strong enough to wield. But anyway, let's move on to talk about the abilities that the Colossus wields. Now, in terms of the passives, when it comes to the combos that the Colossus can create, these are AoE explosions. So when you detonate a combo, an explosion will occur on the primed target, dealing damage to any nearby enemy to the primed target, making it great for wave clearing. The Colossus is also slightly different to other javelins in the fact that it doesn't come with shields. Instead, it has large amounts of health and armor. So take this into account when you're putting components on your Javelin's loadout. Don't use stuff that increases your shield. It is best to normally use specific Colossus components that generally increase your overall health and armor by substantial amounts. Now, when it comes to movement, it has a rocket double jump, allowing it to hover in the air slightly when performing the double jump, and for its evasive maneuver, unfortunately it is unable to dodge whatsoever. However, instead, when you press the evasive button, you'll pull up a gigantic shield in front of you. This will bring up a half circle health bar in front of your javelin, indicating your shield's strength. You are able to block anything in a 180-degree arc in front of you, so long as this bar is not depleted. This allows you to block incoming attacks as you close in for the kill or retreat to cover. When it comes to the melee attacks, the Colossus melee is pretty simple. It's just simply classed as a heavy smash, slamming the ground with its fists, dealing damage in a small area around the exosuit. Alternatively, you can also melee whilst your physical shield is drawn, which results in the Colossus smashing opponents with the shield itself. Finally is his ultimate ability, which is known as the Siege Cannon. When activated, the Colossus will pull out a giant siege cannon. This giant weapon can fire up to 3 missiles that explode in flames for massive damage over a wide area. You could consider these as 3 mini nukes. Wielding the siege cannon works like any other weapon, although you are on a slight time limit to firing off all 3 rockets. Now, when it comes to the abilities you can swap in and out, the Colossus has access to the Ordnance Launcher. You can have the High Explosive Mortar. This is an arcing trajectory bomb that deals high amounts of explosive damage in a small area. It can also be used as a detonator. You have the Burst Mortar, which is similar to the High Explosive Mortar, but instead it launches multiple mini mortars that covers a larger blast radius. Unfortunately, this is not classed as a detonator though. You have the Firewall Mortar, which allows you to put down a wall of flame, burning any enemies who come into it. This is great for blocking off choke points, and on top of that, enemies who are set alight by the Firewall Mortar's flames will be primed for combos. You also have the Lightning Coil. This is a turn on, turn off ability, and when activated, it will automatically send arcs of electric damage at your targets who are nearby. However though, the target's hits are chosen at random. However, this can also be used as a detonator, and with the fact that you can turn it on and off and have it on while performing other moves, it's a great way to auto-detonate combos. And then finally, for the Assault Launcher is the Shock Coil. When activated, this ability will hit every target around you with waves of electricity, and it can also be used as a primer. The next set of abilities are the Heavy Assault Launchers. These are found normally attached to the Colossus's arm. These include the Siege Artillery, which allows the Colossus to hit their enemies with a powerful rocket. This is also classed as a detonator. They have access to the Flamethrower, which is pretty much as it sounds. It allows you to spray the nearby area with fire, igniting anyone who is hit by them, priming them for combos. You have also access to the Flak Cannon, which is almost like a shotgun in some ways. It allows you to deal large amounts of damage to close range opponents through a scatter blast. You have the Railgun, which is a charge up ability, and if you're able to charge it all the way, hits enemies incredibly hard with kinetic damage, and this can also be used to detonate combos. And then finally you have access to the Venom Spitter. This unleashes multiple arcing shots of acid down upon your enemies, also priming them for combos with the acid damage it has. When it comes to the support gear that the Colossus has, it has access to the battle cry. This is pretty much a taunt. It incites enemies to attack you while lowering their elemental and physical resistances. So it's actually more than just a taunt. It is actually a way of debuffing enemies, allowing you and your team to deal more damage to them, but as a result means that you have to be a bit more on the defensive. You also have access to the shield pulse, which gives your friends a damage resistance buff. When it comes to the pros and cons of the Colossus, its biggest pro is probably its resilience, having a large health bar, high amounts of armor, and the fact that it can put up a physical shield means that if you're playing smart, you should be difficult to bring down. Also, you have access to grenade launchers and autocannons. These are heavy weapons that cannot be used by other Javelin classes. And finally, the Colossus has some of the strongest abilities in the game. On the flip side though, it does have downsides, the two biggest being the fact that it doesn't come with shields at all, it relies on health and armor, and it lacks any sort of evasive move in the form of a dodge. Overall, the Colossus is a beast of a Javelin, one of the strongest ones out there in terms of health and potential DPS. It is surprisingly fun to play. Also, personally, I find its combos one of the most enjoyable, able to bring down waves of enemies very quickly. However, if you're not a fan of slow movement and the lack of having any shields, you may have a few issues with the Colossus. But at the end of the day, all the Javelins are useful in their own right, so go with what suits your playstyle and your needs. And until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you an overview guide of the Colossus Javelin in Anthem. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.